Video. All right. Okay, I think this is on. Comment if you see me. Why am I so orange? Facebook's. All right, so I told you I have an announcement. I'm gonna let my friend tell you what's going on here. Colin, what's going on here?
I don't know what the hell's going on. Sean just made me come here. We're backstage at Foxwoods. Brett Sherwood and I are about to do a show. But before that, we're talking about the power of yes. Hopefully making this a Oscar-winning feature.
Well, I mean, I would just be happy that someone would watch it and maybe not leave before it's over.
Obviously, you've never seen any of the movies I've previously been in. Could be a problem.
So, if you had to pick, like, what was the? We were talking in the car about different shoots we've been on and different things. What was the weirdest thing that ever happened on a shoot? Or
I had a shoot once. It was a Tuesday. I had a 7 o'clock flight on the Wednesday. My call time was 7:30 on the Tuesday. I finished at 7:30 on the Wednesday. A 24-hour commercial shoot. I just barely made my flight, and it wasn't on top of things. It was quite tired, but it was incredibly long. It was about it was for some sort of ointment, like a rub that, you know, fixes all your I don't want to say the name just in case they're watching. I could sue.
Oh.
But one of the things was I had to be I was at a acupuncturist, so they were trying to figure out ways to stick all these needles in my face without actually doing it. So they were putting on these little bits of clay and then sticking it in. Then I had to open my mouth. They stuck the camera in my mouth, and they said, "Don't breathe because you'll fog up the thing." But the plan was they were going to move backwards, and then in the final edit, it would look like they were going into my mouth.
okay,
It was horrific.
wow.
Try 6 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of pins in your face, trying not to swallow or breathe the camera. It's difficult.
Oh my God. Now, I've heard actually that you were like the king, pretty much the king of Canadian commercials, or there was a period in which you were you had so many commercial campaigns running at one time. I don't know how they didn't get mad at conflicts. That you were getting spoofed on Canadian television.
Oh, yeah.
For what were they saying about you when you were doing so many
There
commercials?
was actually one, a very popular Canadian show called Corner Gas. And I knew the showrunner. I'd worked with him on one of the Canadian shows I did. And he said, "Okay, would you come on and do this? Here's the script. If you're offended, please don't." And I said, "No, it's fine." So basically it was like these two guys, they're studying an improv troupe, and they mentioned the bald guy from Who's Line. And one says, "My God, that guy is in everything." Then I walk across and go, "Hey, Brett." And he goes, "Hey." That was it.
Oh my God, that's great. Now, I gotta ask you this now, because as I'm also a balding guy, so Clive was kind of like the butt of the bald jokes when you were younger. Was there a certain day when the torch was passed to you, or was it not until the American version that you were getting the bald jokes?
It wasn't until the American version, and even now, I mean, I work with Clive all the time. He still has the same amount of hair he had before. He's not like totally bald. He still has the. So I feel like people were overly cruel to him because he was receding more than balding. But yeah, there's times all through Britain, I think I had my hair, and it wasn't until the American one that it was gone. And it gave them something to do, because most of them had no jokes to fall back on. So when they were stuck, I was there for them.
That was so nice of you to do that. Yeah, because I mean, there was a really funny Larry David show where he was talking about bald by choice. Like he was trying to enlist other guys. He's like,
Yeah, it makes no sense. People who shave their heads and are bald are cool.
Yeah.
But people who lose their hair are old and doddering. My thing is, if you jump off a cliff or if you fall off a cliff, at the end, you're dead. Doesn't matter how it happened.
Now, I've read a lot of philosophy in my life, but I think that was probably one of the wisest.
Thank you.
I mean, this is a bald men's support group basically that we're running today on the interview. Yeah, I mean, people have tried to make fun of me about it, but it just goes right over my head.
Good. Yeah, you're a good-looking guy. Please don't take offense.
Thank you, Colin.
You're welcome. So, I always say, I married a beautiful woman, got a beautiful daughter. I'm doing a job that didn't exist when I was growing up. I'm traveling all around the world. What did your hair do for you?
All right, it looks to me like the camera crew's ready, so let's just get mic'd up and then we'll go. So I'm going to just set you guys on a tripod over here. Hello. Hi.
Sean?
Colin?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for
So,
whatever.
this theater, it's pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
It's you only play big houses, I see.
Yeah. Brad and I are incredibly successful all around the world. So we've played everything from a boardroom to 12 people to a basketball court in Texas for 10,000. That's too
Wow.
many, way too many.
Did you also play basketball?
No, should have.
At least dunked once.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever want to come to the Broadway Comedy Club in New York City,
Okay.
there's a nice little spot that we do improvised rom-coms.
Excellent.
So I meant to ask you, do you do long form? I mean, what's...
Yeah. I was just in Norway last week, and we were doing, there's a long form murder mystery, and then a game where there's like 4 directors and you get 20 minutes to do whatever. So yeah, I've done a lot of long form.
Good to know. Good to know. Because what I hear is, and what I want to talk to you about today is this idea that you were gracious enough to talk to me on the phone about, which is using the concepts of improv, the top rules of improv, the top principles of improv to improve your life, I guess is the best thing to do. And then to see how far we can take that. And obviously our goal that I mentioned when I emailed you was that I'd like to go to the UN and see if we can get ambassadors from every country do an improv, once a month as a standard thing. It's like they go in and there's all these protocols, all these things that they do. Well, why not some improv games, to lighten things up. So the concept of spontaneous play applied to other contexts besides acting. And so you have, from what I understand, used this concept, this number one rule of improv in your life. And what is that? What do you call that rule?
They call that yes and, where you accept someone's ideas and then you build on it. Whenever laymen are talking to me about improv, they always say, well, how do you do it? It just seems so hard. And it isn't. The only thing hard about it is the 2 basic rules are things we don't do in real life, which is listening and accepting other people's ideas and working with them. And once you get past that, it's all gravy. It's really simple. Yes opens up so many more possibilities than no. Once you've said no to something, that's it. It's dead. But if you say yes, it can take you in all these amazing directions. They may not always work out the best, but they've taken you somewhere, and you can learn from that.
Where? Oh,
Excuse me. Yes, and cough.
Where has yes and taken you?
Well, it literally took me to another continent, Africa. My wife and I do a lot of work for different charities, and there was one charity, World Vision, who said, would you like to go to the Congo? And it was something, it's never on anyone's, I'd say, top 10 vacation getaways, going to the Congo. And, they've had a lot of trouble in that area, and it was something we were very, leery of, worried about, and this happened right after we had decided to apply yes and to our life. So I thought, well, there's really no greater test, so let's do it. So we did, and it was one of the best experiences of our life. We went to these little villages. We were shooting commercials to get focus on kids, to get foster home, to get sponsored. And we were in these small villages in the middle of the jungle with people who had absolutely nothing, but they quick to laugh, just filled with this joy of life. And it was, both Deb and I said it was probably the best trip we've ever had.
Wow. And did you keep it going? When did you yes and to like in the movie with Jim Carrey? Did you yes and to a certain point when they were like, okay, I better stop saying yes? Did you sleep with your landlady to pay the rent?
Yeah,
or?
I yes and within a certain parameter. Nothing that will maybe cause physical harm to me or anyone else. But usually it's things that I find challenge me or take me outside of my comfort zone. Last, or the beginning of this year, I was in a production of King Lear. I played the fool. And previously that was something I would have maybe thought about and then gone, I don't know. But again, so glad I did. I was with these world caliber Shakespearean actors. I learned so much from them. It was a great company. The show was wonderful. And again, if I'd said no, that just would have not happened.
Wow. So I got to ask. I mean, this project itself, the project about yes and, that we're calling Agree to Agree, because I believe saying yes is an agreement, but not necessarily an agreement where you give yourself away. You're just agreeing to agree on something. So when I asked you to do this, did you have to go into your yes and mentality? How did you decide to do this project?
Yeah, I guess I must have gone into my yes and. You figure if someone's doing some sort of thing on improv, it'd be horrible to go, no. I think that would just destroy my integrity as an improviser. So, and I always, I enjoy working with new people. I mean, when I was in Norway, it was all people I'd never worked with before. Right. And there was, speaking Norwegian we did the shows in English, but they actually did one scene where they taught me 2 sentences of Norwegian, and the entire scene was in Norwegian. And I would just pop it in my words. It apparently went really well. I still have no idea what happened.
Okay.
And in Toronto, I worked with a lot of like young improv troupes that are just starting out, just because it also, I find, reminds me of the yes and the listening, of going back to the basics and going back into what I love, that thing of going out on stage with nothing but your wit and the people you're working with.
So I was thinking maybe we just to start off things today to talk about yes and. One of the things I did yesterday, I met with this woman, Barbara Tint, and she's using improv for conflict resolution. And some of the things that they do is they want to get the people to tell a story together. A lot of times she does it at the end of a session and says, okay, what did we do today? Let's tell it in one-word story, where we tell a story. So I was thinking maybe we could start today to try to develop what we might do together with this time together by doing a one-word story of the story of today as if it had already happened. So we say, it's the end of today. You're going home tomorrow.
All right.
This is once upon a time when Sean and I got together. What happened?
All right.
Okay.
Once
Upon
a
time
when
I
got
together
with Sean,
he
showed
me
the
back
story
of
improv
and
reminded
me
how
that
it
could
be
when
you
actually
say
what
is
on
your
mind
agreeing
with
someone
else
can
to
everyone
fix
any
problem
that
you
may
have.
simple
Easy,
and
clear.
yes.
Yes, and. Then wow. Okay, so we pretty much, so that's charting the course right there. I mean, I don't know what we just said, but I also wanted to say, just to you guys, that if people want to cross, you guys can be.
This could be your big chance.
Just don't be shy. Yeah, because we'll just get you to sign a release later. Yeah. And if anyone back there, they look like they're stopping, they don't want to walk by or something, just tell them.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then it looks like I, paid for extras for this film, and look like a big time producer.
Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the game of. Okay, so after you do the one-word story, what Barbara would then do is say, okay, what was that like for you, or what did you experience then? And so, what did you experience when we played one-word story?
I thought it went quite well, considering it was our first time improvising together, and there was always a bit of, even though you have the yes and, when you're working with someone you don't know as well, a lot of times you're getting your ideas without actually listening to what the person's saying. So that was a good, because there were a couple of times I think I screwed it up, but then you just kind of relax and get into it, and by the end, you're both working towards the same thing.
Yeah. And so I think what then I would have to ask you as the facilitator, if you were in a conflict situation or in a therapy type session, would be, how can you apply that to the problems that you have in your life? What you just learned here in this game, what is a life lesson, if you distill it from the game, of, you said, thinking you screwed it up, but then it was okay. So it's like, how many times did we make a mistake? And then it's actually okay.
Yeah. No, because you just start beating yourself up like, oh, I could. And the beauty of improv is we'll go out, and because we're very good, we rarely have bad scenes. But every once in a while, a scene just does not, and you learn very quickly to just let it go. Otherwise, it just stays with you, and it infects your next scene, and then infects the next one. So, let go of that stuff. And all problems come from usually a lack of communication or miscommunication. And doing a game like that, you really have to communicate because you're telling the same story.
Yeah. And it's really low stakes. I mean, I think. All right, that's scene 3, take 2. All right, so my own PA.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm gonna make it in this business. Next thing you know, I'll be third AC. Okay, so the reason why I was asking you to slate emotionally is because in these arguments that people are getting in, emotions are getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it clouds your reason, your emotion. I wish I could come up with a timely Shakespeare quote about that.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I can't help you out.
So, can you? And I mean, I think Barbara talked about playing the emotional hitchhiker game, where you would take on someone's emotions. So maybe we could just each pick an emotion and try to talk about. It doesn't have to be a big conflict, but let's choose a conflict. We'll each choose an emotion from which to talk about that conflict, and then after we finish the scene, then we'll talk about what it did to us, what the other person's. So the goal is not to adopt in this hitchhiker game. It's not to adopt the other person's emotion, but to just be naturally affected by it, however it affects you, and see how it changes you. So you can just secretly pick your emotion. I'll pick mine. Okay, I got one. And so for a conflict, or how about you guys? An argument that two people might have, it can be big or small, whatever you want. Where to eat for dinner? Okay, where to eat for dinner? Domino's.
I had pizza yesterday.
Oh, isn't that typical?
If you want, I'll give it another go.
Well, I don't want to make you eat something you don't want to eat.
It's not. No, I like pizza.
But you don't sound excited about eating pizza.
It's just it wasn't a good pizza. I guess I'm letting that just sort of color everything.
So your pizza wasn't good, so that's why you want to have pizza, because you want to have a good pizza tonight.
Shouldn't I give pizzas another chance? What? So I should stop. I like pizza generally. I don't know. It's kind of.
Well, the problem I'm having is that it sounds like you don't like pizza, the way that you said that.
I didn't like that pizza.
Okay, you didn't like that pizza, but in general, you would like a pizza that's good.
Yeah, I think anyone would.
All right. So Domino's?
Yeah, I mean, is there another maybe? Maybe not a chip. Maybe like a mom and dad's thing. That'd be nice. You know, these people that they're not part of a big chain. They're just want to make the pizza and make it the best they can.
So a mom and pop as opposed to a chain.
Yeah. You know, and you give to the smaller businesses. They need, because they're, it's hand to mouth for them.
It is a little bit more expensive though.
I'll treat.
Deal. Okay. So, what was that like?
You were, you were subtly changing my emotion for me. Although I was really hanging on to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was. Should I tell you what I was?
Yeah.
I was just very sad.
Very sad. Mm-hmm.
Had a really bad experience at the pizza place that reminded me of an old girlfriend. And this is true. I broke up with this woman that, well, I didn't break up. She broke up with me in a pizza place on my birthday. Yeah.
Oh.
And it was 3 days after her birthday, so it was our kind of birthday celebration. So, pizza. Very conflicted.
Yeah, I see why you chose sadness. I chose flippant to start, but as soon as I saw that you were sad,
You were trying to cheer me up.
yeah, I couldn't stay flippant. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something I want to ask you about. Maybe it's not as applicable now, but I was in this thing called the Mankind Project. It's a men's group, and it's about getting men to say their emotions without being, I guess, ashamed of having emotions. Because really, for guys, a lot of times in the culture, it's like anger is the only emotion that
Yeah.
you're allowed to show. So when guys are sad, they act angry. When guys are afraid, they try to act angry. So this is about, you go around the room and you check in and you say, I'm Joe, glowing tiger, because they have like animal names. And then you're like, I feel a little sadness in my belly. It's great. It's really great for guys. But yeah, emotions are huge. What do you think, though, would it take, I mean, to get people to cut to their real emotions? I mean, is it really going to work if we go into this? I mean, maybe not the Senate. I think marriage counseling, I'm sure it'll work.
Yeah.
Because those people are already intimate with each other.
The beauty is you have no idea. And that's the exciting thing about improv. You have your plan, well, not your plan, but you know what the, in short form, you know what the boundaries of the game are, and that's all you know. And you hope for the best, and you head for that objective. And sometimes you get there in a way that you thought, oh, I didn't see that happen. You just play with it. So, you can never say for certain that you're going to make the people we're hoping to make listen or be more open to listening and accepting. But, it's trying to do this without making it political.
Oh.
But you know how some people just keep saying the same thing over and over again, whether it's true or not, because the more you say it, then it becomes a fact. So why can't that work in a positive way? The more you say something, the more people can accept. If you're being more positive with them, why can't they, maybe that would change them.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
I'm with you. I mean, because I've lived in Los Angeles for a long time, there was a thing called Cafe Gratitude. It's a cafe there. It's a vegan place that I worked at, and it's a great place. I love it. Go there. So what they do, all the foods, it's all organic, vegan stuff, but they make these bowls, and they're really delicious. But they all have names on them that are affirmation. So when they put your food down, they look you in the eye and they go, "You are beautiful." but they don't say it in that creepy way, like I just
Oh,
did.
good, 'cause-
yeah. But you know, and it's like I am cool. I'm fantastic. They're all the names of them. And so when the people order, they say, "I'll have I'm fantastic," and you know, it's great. It's really
Yeah, and after a while, you feel fantastic as you're ordering, and
yeah.
that's a good way to start off your meal.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing is we do the question of the day. So this company actually pays you to come to work 5 minutes before your shift as a server or bartender or whatever, and you get a partner who's just clocked in as well, and you sit in a room and you have two questions. One's the shadow question, one is the question of the day. The shadow question is, what's keeping you distracted from being present today? And you say, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then the second question is, well, what can you be grateful for? Or what's going good in your life? And it's a daily practice. And I'm telling you, all the waiters in there are usually in a good mood. You know, it's like,
That's pretty good,
yeah.
because I've been a waiter.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be in a good mood consistently,
Yeah.
day after day.
Oh, I know, because I'm working in a restaurant now, and it's not Cafe Gratitude, and I don't like it. Yeah. I'm just gonna check my list here to make sure we got everything, because I'm pretty sure we're good now. I just want to. No, not this one. I got the one on my phone that I just wrote a couple. Yeah, this is my backup list. Okay. So, oh, and I just wanted to send a message from my cousin that she's so proud of you and just delighted how you've supported Kinley
Oh, thank you.
through transition, and so
Please tell her thank you.
Okay.
Every little bit helps.
I will.
It's been actually great. I constantly have people coming up, either people going through the process or people who have family members, and been getting a lot of messages on my public page. So it's nice, because there are times you go, oh, who are these people? But
Right.
it's nice that it's actually helping some people feel like they have some kind of a voice.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, honestly, when I saw that interview that you guys did on the CBC, that was when I first kind of really read about the Stonewall riots and like really researched into it. And I was like, wow, this is huge. Like, this wasn't taught in history books in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
when I was a kid, you know, I hope it's in the history books now.
Yeah, history books tend to gloss over some of the, they're fine with the Nazis,
Right.
but some of the stuff that our countries have done, they just kind of gloss over.
Yeah. Well, what do they say? The winners rewrite
Well, yeah.
the history
What was
books?
I think, was it a Canadian history book? It could have been an American, saying that the American or the Native Americans agreed with the government, they should settle somewhere else. And I thought, I don't think that's how it happened.
Wow.
Yeah, they started their own settlements because they felt the white man can have all this. We're fine over here.
In the desert with no
Yeah.
water. Okay, here's the last. Okay, two questions. One is a practical question, and then we'll do a more philosophical question to end things.
Okay.
So, I was asking Barbara this too. How do we know? So, we've set this goal to make a documentary film about using improv to help people, whether it's in a therapeutic setting for an individual, counseling for a couple or a relationship or a family, politicians who just are having trouble just finding a win-win situation, and also nation states and large groups of people and their and their leaders just coming together to find peace. So I just want to ask you, like, that's a very ambitious agenda.
It's 2 weeks' work, most.
So, all right then. How do we know when we're done? Just I count 14 days off.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone seems happy. All right.
Is there any way how are we going to measure this? How are we going to know that we should stop making the movie and release it? How are we going to know that it's over?
That's a good one. Well, I guess it has to end with big game
Big game.
with both opposing teams mixed in together with a new team where they have to work together. And that may be just a step. I'm sure we're not going to see the end result of all this, but it may be one of those, the end? Question mark.
Yeah.
It gives you hope, where you go, oh, they are. If it's happening for this group, why can't it spread and happen with countries? And yeah, who knows? We'll probably know instinctively. Like when you know a scene is, you go, okay, if I go 2 more sentences, this scene is dying. It's
Right.
time to stop right now.
Yeah. Okay. That actually makes, I like that. The big game, just as in quotes. And the big game might be inviting us people to Alan Alda's thing next summer, and we get whoever we think needs some improv in their life. We get them there, and we do it, and we all go out for beers afterwards.
I guess so. We did Brad and I did one of the press correspondence thing at the White House, and part of it was we brought Karl Rove up and did a rap scene with him. And afterwards, a bunch of Democrats came up to us and said, damn you. You made me like him for a second.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. Because I'm sure there was no love lost on the other side. But for a second, they saw the human being as opposed to... and we were taken to the White House afterwards, and we got to meet President Bush. And I was not a supporter of him, but it was interesting to see the man behind the presidency. I saw a man who he believed what he was doing was the best for the country, and he wanted the best for the country. And though I disagreed with what he was doing, it was like, okay, I can kind of understand that you truly believe what you're doing is right. It was because you don't often. You used to not often see the man behind the presidency. You just saw the president, and you just took the policies at face value. But it was sort of interesting, at least hearing the other side, not agreeing with it, but it's having a different slant on it.
Yeah, that's a poignant story. That if you ask yourself, why would a good person do this? Why would a good and conscientious person do this thing that they're doing? You have to look through their eyes.
Yeah.
And say, oh, yeah, because he was born into this world and raised in this way by these kind of people and had these kind of experiences. How else would he act? Of course he's going to act that way.
We used to do a thing at Second City when we were putting up shows. If it was some political issue or where the director would say, take the other point of view. And you have to fight for your point of view without being strident, without being angry, without being a caricature of what you think the person is. And it was quite interesting because you have to actually sort of, okay, so if I'm behind this issue, why? How does it affect me? Why would I be so passionate about it? And you can find some stuff because really we're all people. We all have our faults and all our pluses, and we all basically want the same thing, just everyone's coming at it different ways.
Well, we're going to come at it head on with an improv. I don't know, what do we call it? Is there something we should call ourselves?
Oh. The Improvers.
All right. That's the band name.
I get that. I'm copyright. You heard it.
All right, well, just sue me later. That'll be a good ending to this film. We're just fighting in court. That actually, my last film was called The Serious Business of Happiness, and then there was a big lawsuit among the investor and the producer.
It seems not right.
Yeah, it was a very ironic ending. So maybe we should make this name the title The Very Poor People, and then we'll all become very rich.
I say give it a shot. Give it a shot.
How will improv change the world?
Slowly. But like like any improv team, you have a lot of different improvisers, different skill sets, different experiences, and yet they will come together for a show and make magic out of nothing because they're listening, they're trying to make each other look good, and they want to have fun. God, it sounds so easy.
That actually just reminded me that I had one more question, which was more philosophical, which is, what is your wish for the world? I mean, what, in your heart of hearts, what do you think?
My wish is that we learn and hang on to those lessons. There's times I just get so depressed when you see the same things happen over and over again, whether it's the persecution of a particular group of people or whatever. You think, well, this has been going on for millions of years. Why haven't we gone, okay, no, this isn't right. Why don't we change this, find a way to make this work? I know it's all really simplistic, but I feel we've made incredible strides with technology. Why haven't we as people?
Well, if you could find out a way to make one person very rich by making people better
Oh, that would
people.
make it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all you have to do. You have to get money involved.
Yeah. Yeah, because technology, that's where the money's at. Everyone wants. I mean, all the brightest minds, they go into finance. So we got to figure out a way to get people rich through happiness. I was going to say improv, but I mean, there's already people
Improv
doing
makes
that.
you happy, so yeah. All right, it's going to take longer than I thought. 3 weeks.
All right. Did you guys, any questions you want to ask? Okay. So maybe just tell us about some of the principles of improv that you think could help people in a conflict situation.
Well, listening. If you're watching any kind of panel discussion on any news show, it's just 5 people shouting all at the same time, and you can't listen. It's just like noise, so nobody's point is being made. Keeping calm, talking, letting that person get their point out, and then get yours out. So it's the same in the scene. You can't talk over each other because you may miss some nugget that person has just given you that you can use in the scene. And accepting, saying yes, just going, oh, I'll take that nugget, and now I'll shine it up and make it bigger and give it back to you. And back and forth, acceptance. It's so hard because your ego gets involved. It's very hard to go, oh yes, okay, they have a point. Let me, you know what? It's hard for someone to go, I'm going to agree with that. See where that takes me, because that may. It may actually help my point if I agree with this person. Let's do it. Let's change this world.
All right. I'm in.